Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of The Vlog. March 2017, there are so many exciting things happening both from a business standpoint as well as an industry standpoint, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys about some of those things today. So today we're going to be diving back into the L&D space. We're going to be talking a little bit about trends, and I'll tell you, these are the opposites that I just love pulling from. Last episode, we talked about the macro. We talked about future visioning and setting a clear path for 3, 5, 10 years down the road, what does success look like. Today, we're going to be talking more specifically about specific trends and tactics that we can deploy against those trends that help us design and deliver great learning experiences. So let's dive into it. Let's get started. So I'm sure many of you guys see at the beginning of the year, there are a lot of reports that are generated regarding trends in the L&D space. And I'll tell you, one report that came out this year that I thought was just great and I was really impressed with was the 2017 Workplace Learning Report. This was done by the folks at LinkedIn Learning Solutions. And it was just a great report, well designed, some tremendous insights, and you can tell that they've been working hard to become a leading learning organization now with their acquisition of lynda.com. This report gives not only great insights and trends on what's happening in L&D, but it offers real, tangible solutions. I thought I would highlight a couple key points and then go even more specific in terms of some of the tactics that I've seen and that I've been able to help clients realize make a big impact in terms of following these trends and making sure that you're adapting and reacting to them. First things first, the industry will agree that learning and development is not going away. In fact, this report just further solidified that talent and talent development continues to be a top priority for organizations. And that's supported by the fact that the majority of L&D organizations are seeing an increase in investment and an increase in budget, which is a really great thing. But we have to understand, how do we maximize this opportunity to be at the forefront of our organization's efforts to developing people? One of the things that I thought was just so interesting is that although organizations are continuing to invest more and more in learning and development and developing their people, learning professionals are becoming less and less confident in the programs that they're developing. In fact, the LinkedIn report, and this was over 500 learning professionals surveyed, showed that less than 1/4 of those surveyed would recommend their own program to their peers. Now, I just think this is fascinating, right? Because as a learning professional, we have to take pride in the programs that we're developing, and we're constantly told to really focus on the learning experience and what makes that great for employees. But the data shows that we live in a world where we're creating things and programs and experiences that we don't even believe in ourselves. How do we get over that hump? How do we build confidence in the tools and the resources that we're deploying? We definitely take a look at trends and we take a look at the way our adults are learning differently. The LinkedIn report talked about the fact that live instruction-led courses are still the leading format for delivering learning to employees today. I can tell you, I still believe very strongly in instructor-led class as a modality, particularly the live classroom setting. I think the live setting drives culture, particularly within the first 4 to 6 months where employees are still learning the culture. I think there is far few replacements for actually bringing people in, grouping them together in a live setting, allowing them to collaborate in different ways, and also giving them access and exposure to HQ. Live learning is real. It's here to stay. We need to continue to think about different ways that we can execute learning experiences and maximize that 3 or 4 days that we bring people in. So one of the things that the LinkedIn report talked about is the importance of having an effective and tightly executed communications plan. And this is something that I was so excited to see in this report because I believe very strongly in this as a core principle of building strategy. In fact, the LinkedIn report talked about how some of the more progressive learning and development organizations are using communication plans as the backbone of their strategy, and I couldn't agree more with this. One of the things that I have found to be very effective in my practice is working with clients to sit down at the beginning of the year and really define what we call a master training calendar. And essentially this is your broad communications calendar across the entire year. This includes your major learning events, so those events that we know happen on a regular basis. It also includes your regular communications cadence, whether that's training calls or meetups with managers or bringing reps in for up training. So defining when those are going to occur over the year, as well as the outcomes that you expect from each of these and how they map back to our business objectives. I was so thrilled to see that communications is now at the forefront of building strategy for L&D, because I really think that that's a big part of the future of learning and the future of our role as learning professionals. Speaking of ROI, it was no surprise to me that the Learning Workplace report by LinkedIn had a huge focus on learning measurement and the ability to demonstrate the value in the tools and the programs that we're putting together as learning professionals. The LinkedIn data suggests that a lot of the measurement practices that we're putting into place today are very subjective in nature. This is qualitative feedback that we're getting at the end of learning experiences, where we're asking our learners to react to the content or react to the experience, whether that be positively or negatively. That type of subjective feedback is great, but it's only one step in the right direction. Where organizations are starting to look at is how do we objectively measure the ROI on the investments that we're making. And this can be seen in several ways. I use a lot with my clients this concept of time to ramp. So how quickly can we decrease the time that it takes for a new representative to ramp by way of specific checkpoints and measures in the field. Secondly, ROI, simply put, how are our learning programs making an impact in terms of sales? And I know this has been a tough one to measure because learning is not necessarily always directly tied to sales results, but there's some things that you can do to take specific learning programs, deploy them, and start to measure back trends and the ability of representatives to grow their sales incrementally. I was surprised that a lot of organizations, I think it was about 10% of organizations, are not even using measurement as a practice. And I believe that measurement should be in the fabric of what we do strategically. And lastly, one of the trends that I was really excited to see in the LinkedIn report was the concept of our managers being able to access growth and not just performance. One of the things that we can do to ensure that our managers are an extension of the learning experience is by establishing a formalized learning manager partnership program. This is a partnership program that exists between L&D and our managers, particularly those that are out in the field developing people. This partnership program does a couple of things. First, it gives our managers real insight into the program that we're developing and the progression of learning that their people are going through. And the second benefit of an official partnership program is providing our managers specific tools to be able to track learning and perpetuate learning in the field. So an official manager L&D partnership program is something I've had a lot of success with in both small and large organizations, and it essentially allows your team to have a broader span of influence by really inspiring and enabling your managers to pull through some of the great things that you're doing. And so those are 3 or 4 exciting trends that came out of the 2017 Workplace Learning Report, again, done by the folks at LinkedIn Learning Solutions. I will put the hyperlink to the report below in the description of the video. I know there's a lot of reports that come out specifically at the beginning of the year, but I think this one was just so well designed. It offered a lot of depth as well as specific solutions in terms of the key trends that are coming through in the L&D space. And it just always gets me super excited to know that things are changing and we constantly have to be on our game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we will see you again soon.